Welcome to another episode of NBA Stories.
This time the Dallas team is taking over, and we want to share with you our experiences that we've had through this Explore year.
So what exactly is the Explore program, you may ask? It is a faith-based 10-month congregationally hosted residency program designed for 21 to 30-year-olds who are looking to explore lives of care and service, giving them the opportunity to unleash their own potential while positively impacting their community.
Explore residents are spread out through the U.S. and are assigned to work at a nonprofit organization and a local church.
So every week we meet with our spiritual companion, and with that time we get to work on what discernment means, studies in the Bible, theology, any questions we have on a spiritual matter or even just about life, we really talk about.
The Explore program has 4 cornerstones, which we're going to talk some more about. But to do this, we have a special guest. We are inviting our own wonderful, amazing spiritual companion, Reverend David Cartwright, to join us as we talk about this. Yay! Welcome, David.
Part of the spiritual discernment process for vocation, as they've already said, involves exploring some of their own biblical understandings, theological perspectives, but also trying to weave a sense of how God is involved, not only through the 10-month process in both their work site, their church sites, but also where they have come in their own spiritual formation to this point, and where they feel God is calling them to go forward, and what the next phase or 2 of their life journey will be. And so part of that, we spend some time doing prayer disciplines or do some theological conversation about particular topics that are of interest, but also trying to find out kind of where their life has been to this point. We did some stepping stones of both faith and life, about where they've experienced God, what have been the significant turning points for them. And so that gives a little better perspective for the house to be able to not only deal with one another, but also to have ongoing conversations about what their calling of God is going to be and how that will be impactful for the next several years of their life. And hopefully they develop some spiritual disciplines along the way that they can carry through with their next phase of life.
Yeah. One of the 4 cornerstones in the Explore program is community engagement and justice work. And those really do work hand in hand, whether it be on a smaller scale or an even bigger scale. One example of the bigger scale is when I participated in the Women's Rights March, which was just this Saturday, and many people, different ages and genders, marched to rally for abortion rights for women. And that's one example that I had for community engagement and social justice work. Another that is on a smaller scale we could do any day, especially if you work in a nonprofit or a social services organization. One example is I work with English second language students, and I get to hear their stories. I help refer them to get affordable health care or inexpensive glasses, or just hear their stories, have them share their culture with me. And that's another example of a smaller way to really be engaged in the community as well as show social justice. And I'm really thankful that I got to experience that here in the Explore program.
One of the cornerstones in NBA XPLOR is leadership development. Now, coming from a family of 7 and being the youngest girl, I usually got things either handed to me or I was just told what to do. So taking initiative wasn't really my thing until I came here and I worked here at Juliet Fowler. And I worked in life enrichment, which pretty much enriches lives. So it really put me in a position where I had to take leadership of all the activities of any celebration that we had, and when something didn't go as planned, I had to improvise, which was super hard and super challenging for me because, again, I never did that. And also in church, my pastor went ahead and gave me the opportunity not to only read scripture, but do pastoral prayer. And I also had a big challenge with praying out loud. I could do it in my head, but could never do it out loud. And every single time I did do it, I just was very repetitive. So I was able to actually dig deep into the scripture, not only look at the scripture, but dig deep into myself and have that personal relationship with God to be able to talk to Him, and not only that, have Him speak through me to the congregation. So with leadership development, not only was I able to think a different way and creatively, I also got to have a theological aspect.
One of the cornerstones of the XPLOR program is simple living in community. And in the last 10 months, my housemates and I have been able to figure out ways to combine our resources to get what we need. We've also been able to identify affordable alternatives that are equally as effective as some more expensive brands. But when I reflect on simple living in community, there's a story that has just warmed my heart this XPLOR year. And it's one day when I came back from work, I was tired and hungry, and I walked right here into this kitchen, and my wonderful roommate, Erin, was standing at this stove and cooking a meal for us. And this was on a night that we had not planned to cook and eat together. And so it just brought so much joy to my heart to see how well she has accepted and blended into this community, and how she was going out of her way to serve and care for us.
We're very thankful for this XPLOR experience and everything that we have learned, that we met each other and that we were pretty much forced to be sisters, but it was the best thing ever. And we can't wait for the next adventure that awaits us, and we just want to thank everyone for all the support, and we'll see you later. Bye!